In this video clip, I'm going to show you how to obtain the t-statistic for the Wilcoxon signed rank test step by step as shown in the textbook. Just for your information, I'm using Excel just for making the hand calculation easier. Actually, Excel has a much more efficient way to get the Wilcoxon's test if you prefer Excel over SPSS. Alright, to start, I want to show you here. This is a data set I got from table 3.2 in the textbook. In this example, 12 participants reported their percentage of successful intervention before and after an implementation of a program that tried to reduce bullying in elementary schools. Okay, so for example, there's one counselor in one school reported 31% successful intervention before the implementation of that program, and the successful percentage remained to be 31 after the implementation. But for participant number 11, the successful intervention was 17% before the intervention and 20% after the program implementation. Alright, so in order to find out the t-statistic, first step, we need to find out what's the difference between the paired measures. What's the difference between before and after the intervention? So the difference would be this year minus last year. Since for the first participant there's no change, the difference is 0. Okay. Then we're going to repeat the same process for the remaining 11 participants. Simply just Control-C and highlight the difference. Control-V. Now for the second step, it's straightforward. We only need to identify what's the sign of the difference. So we ignore those with no difference. Okay, start with the one with real difference. -3, the sign is a negative. And 12, it's positive. Seven is a positive sign as well. I'm going to just copy and paste the positive signs for those positive values and do the negative signs for the negative values. We're done with the second step. The third step is, after we remove the sign, what's the absolute value of the differences? Okay, so it's quite straightforward. In Excel, you have a function. Remember that equal sign that leads you to the function that's called absolute value. So you put the number in the parentheses that returns you the absolute value of the number. So -3 has absolute value of 3. I use a D with 2 vertical bars on the side. That stands for the absolute value of the differences. Okay. And for 12, the absolute value is 12. So I will just copy, Control-C, then highlight the remaining participant, and Control-V, that gave me the absolute values I need. Alright, that's the third step. Step 4, we ignore those that has the participant that had no difference. We're going to rank the participant that has real differences. To make the ranking easier, I'm going to sort the differences from the lowest to the highest value. So to do that in Excel, I go to Sort, and I want to make sure the sorting is by the absolute value of differences, which is in column F, from the smallest to the largest. Okay, and you can see here, yes, we have the differences from 1 all the way to 23. So the ranking is easy. You just give 1 to the lowest value, 2, 3. Now we have 2 4s. They are tied, and they would take the ranks of 4 and 5. To rank the tied scores, you just assign them the average of their shared ranks. So 4.5, 4.5. Since those two have taken the ranks of 4 and 5, in essence, so start here, we're going to do rank 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we ranked the differences. They are the absolute value of the two differences. We can go back to the original order of the participant. So you guys just go back to original order. What's left for us to do is find out, okay, what's the total or the sum of all the ranks that with a positive sign, and what's the total of ranks that are with a negative sign. So for the total of positive signs, I know it's this one, this rank, this rank, this rank, and this rank. Pay attention, they all have positive signs. And this one, this one, this one, and this one. So 8 ranks that has positive sign were added together to a total of 47.5. For the total of the ranks that with a negative sign, we have a 3 that has a negative sign, and we also have a 4.5 that has a negative sign. Between the two, the smaller one would be the value for the t-statistic. So that's it. We're done. We know and we find out what's the value for the t-statistic in the Wilcoxon test. At this point, you need to go to the table and look up the critical value, compare the t obtained with the critical value, or you can use the p-value from SPSS output to compare with your R value to come to a decision whether to reject or retain your null hypothesis.